Alright everyone, welcome to Sour Horsepower, and today I'm going to be going over how I basically do my whole entire track experience, what I've done to the car, and everything, every sort of question I've been asked on YouTube or Instagram or wherever on exactly what I do to make my Hellcat Redeye run, well now 10.00, but mostly the low 10s. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alright, so the first question that I get asked probably more than any other question is what wheels and tires am I running? So let's go ahead and take a look at them. All right, so up front we have Weld Racing wheels. They are the Illumistars, 18 by 6, wrapped in Mickey Thompson Sportsman SR tires. They are 28 inches tall by 6 wide. And you see here the 18s. So, yep, that's the fronts. Had to get some different what are these? Lug nuts. Had to get some different lug nuts. I bought them from High Horse Performance. You have to get a special smaller diameter acorn style for these because with the stock lug nuts, they're actually too thick and you can't fit them down in these little valleys and get a socket on them to take them off. So that's what we did there. No spacers on the front, as you can see. But yeah, that's going to be it for the front. So let's go ahead and jump to the back. All right, so for the back here, we have the Weld Racing again, 17 by 10, the S71 beadlocks, and they are wrapped in the Mickey Thompson ET Street Rs in 305 45 R17. So we do run a small spacer on the back. You can see it. It's this little silver piece right here. So that is a 3mm spacer, and I got that just so we can clear the inner fender there a little bit. So I did have to trim just a slight amount of the inner fender liner. I actually have a video on that. I'll go ahead and put that down in the description too. Everything that we had to do to get these to fit. But that's the most common thing one of the most common questions we get asked. And both the part numbers for the rear and the front will be in the description below. So go ahead and check that out if you're interested in purchasing these wheels and tires. So also another thing related to the tires would be the tire pressures that I run. So the front, I run 75 PSI in these Sportsman SR tires. Now, if you're running the Hoosiers, like bias plies, you cannot run tire pressures that high. Only in the Sportsman SRs can you run tire pressures that high. And then on the back. So for the back tires, obviously a lot of it depends on your track conditions, how sticky your track is, the prep, temperatures, a bunch of things. But I found my sweet spot for right where this car likes to run. So I'll set the tire pressures at around 17.5 to 18 if it's a good sticky track. And if I have to go lower, I will. If I have to go up, I will. Usually we'll say low end I'm at 16.5, and then top end would be like 18.5, 19. So somewhere in that range is where you want to start if you're running this wheel and tire combination on your Hellcat. All right, so our second mod that we've done other than the wheels and tires is the rear diff brace. I got that from Performance Development. It's their DIRS. I'm not really sure what it means, but I'll put a link to that as well below. I got an install video on that on the channel. It's one of my first 10 videos I ever put up. So that's in the back, and that's the only real performance modifications we've done. And I wouldn't even consider the diff brace a performance modification, more a safety modification so I don't blow the rear end out of it when I'm launching. So yeah, that's really going to be it for mods. We do have a catch can, which we just installed. I'm actually going to, let's take a look at that now. So there's been no street driving at all from my car with the catch can installed. The only thing we've done is pull it up on the trailer. We've gone to 3 different race events, so it's probably got 10, 12 passes on the car with the catch can on. So let's go ahead and pop the hood, take that out, or unscrew it and see how much oil is in it just after, we'll say, 12 passes. All right, so in here we have the amount of oil from just 12 passes on the track. So I'm going to pull it over in the light here. And you're going to take a look inside. I took a little sneak peek here, but nothing. No oil in the catch can at all. Kind of surprising. I mean, because it's been 12, very hard passes down the track, all 10 O's or that's basically it. So I guess it's probably going to help more for street driving. Probably don't even build up an engine's probably not even running long enough to force it all into the catch can. So that's actually quite interesting. So as you can see, no street miles, just the track passes, and I can't even believe there's not a drop in there. It's kind of funny, but yeah, as you can see in the engine bay, we still have the stock pulley, stock belt, stock air filter, which is actually kind of dirty by now. Stock intake tube, like everything is still stock. We're still running 10 O's, multiple times, multiple backup passes to prove that we're running those times. Obviously, we have very good DA this time of year, but yeah. All right, so I guess let's jump into the next most asked question is, what settings do I run the car in at the track? So question number 1 was all the mods that we've done, which is wheels, tires, diff brace, catch can. So that's covered. Now let's go ahead and jump in the car, answer question number 2, which is what settings we race in at the track. So I'm going to go ahead, open up the garage door so I don't smoke myself out, and get the car warmed up, and then I'll cut the camera back on then. All right, everyone. So here we are sitting in the Hellcat now. So it's getting a little warmed up. We're going to go over the entire launch process, the line lock, everything that I do pulling up to launch this car at the track. So right here, you see this is our SRT page where we can adjust all of our modes. And it's pretty simple for what I do when we go down the drag strip. I know a lot of people want to do custom mode, but I've tested both back to back, haven't found a difference, but we just do that. Track mode. And what that does, it also gives us the power chiller from that Dodge puts in these cars that are from the Demon. So all the new, you can actually, you might have just be able to hear it kick on. It's actually really loud, but all the new Hellcats, I think from 2019 and up, have it, as well as all the Redeyes, of course, and the Demon. So we hit track mode, we come down here, we press and hold the traction control light for about 10 seconds, and then you're going to see the traction go full off right there, and then it will also tell you electronic stability control is off in the dash. So ignore the tire pressures because I do not have tire pressure sensors in my drag wheels. But yeah, so all right, we're pulling up to the burnout box. So let's start with that. So race options, come over here, do your race options, you come down to line lock, and then you'll hit activate line lock control. Boom. Right? So then it'll come over here, it'll say apply brake pressure. So you have to get on it pretty hard. But once you, okay, so we got to be in forward gear. So that will help. All right, so we're in drive. Apply brake pressure. It's going to give you that little PSI reading for how much brake pressure you're holding. So anywhere above like 1300 is usually good. So you do that, press and hold. And then it's going to say to hold OK, or continue to hold OK and apply throttle. So normally, as you can see, I'm in drive right now. I will swap it over, let's do that, to manual, because if you leave it in drive the entire time, it's going to go up to like 4th, 5th gear, and you're really going to leave a big smoky burnout. Kind of unnecessary. So for when I'm doing my burnouts, I'll just manually shift it up to about 3rd gear. Hold that for about 5 to 7 seconds. I'll do a burnout just enough to get the tires smoking. On the dashboard here, you'll see there will be a tire revolutions gauge that will come up as you start to spin. Once it hits between like 60 to 70 revolutions is when I usually let off the button here, so you're holding OK on the steering wheel. Once you do that, the car will start to go forward because it's no longer holding the front brakes. You're going to ride out the burnout out of the water, so you want to pull up about 5 to 10 feet out of the water, and then you back off your throttle, just let off the gas. The rear tires will stop spinning, they'll hook up, they'll chirp a little bit, and then you can get on the brake. Don't get on the brake while the tires are still spinning. Wait until they're done spinning, then get on the brake, slow the car down, and then creep up to the staging lights. All right, so once you're coming up to the staging lights, I do switch the car back over into drive. So as you can see here, it's back over into drive. So now we're creeping up to the lights, and then once we hit the pre-stage, so it's going to be your first bulbs on the tree. Once we hit pre-stage, I will sit there and I'll pump the brake up. So I'll sit there and I'll tap it, and I'll build a lot of brake pressure. And that helps with when you're going to get on the throttle to launch, the more brake pressure you have, it will make it easier for the car to hold itself once you start applying throttle. So now that we've lit the first bulb, the pre-stage, I've tapped the brake, built up a lot of brake pressure. I'll tap the brakes again, so we'll just tap, 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 tap. We'll creep forward, we'll light the second bulb. So now we're fully staged. I'm gonna hold this as close as I can here. So now is where the launch, the finessing in the launch becomes like the key factor here. So you're gonna leave your left foot matted on the brake, and then as you're gonna see, I'm going to start getting on the throttle. So there we go, 1,000, 1,200. So I will put it up to about 1,800. You'll start to feel the car wanting to push through the brakes. So that's okay. Just hold on to the brakes. Like you're gonna have to give a lot of brake pressure and just a little bit of throttle, maybe like 20 to 30% throttle, to get the car up to that 1,800 RPM. And then once you're at 1,800 RPM, just hold it. Just hold your foot on the throttle there. It's a balancing act. We'll call it a balancing act. And then, you know, once those lights come down, 1, 2, 3, go, it is full off the brakes. So just let off the brakes and mash that gas down. So if you have your tire pressure set right, if you have them warmed up correctly, the Hellcats, even the Redeye, like this Redeye still dead hooks every single time. We did have one incident once when there was actually water on the track, but barring water on the track, this car has never spun or wheel hopped or done anything to have a bad pass. And then once you're going down the track, I just leave your foot mashed to the floorboard as hard as you can get it down there. And then as soon as I pass through the lights, or the end of the track, the quarter-mile mark, I'll actually switch the car over into manual mode. Now, the reason I switched the car into manual mode is because since we're in track mode, the car will very aggressively begin downshifting. So when it does that, it almost kind of unsettles the car. It's for road course sort of tuning. So it'll unsettle the car when you're in the braking zone because it's going to be downshifting as aggressively as possible. So I will throw it into manual mode and just leave it in, I think it's usually 6th gear, and just come on the brakes nice and slowly, and then I'll downshift, and I'll downshift slowly so that way I'm not putting the car through a whole bunch of stress with the aggressive downshifts. Alright, so got the car turned off. You probably hear it ticking, all the oil ticking in the background. So let's recap the video. We went over the mods, which is wheels and tires, diff brace, catch can, which clearly the catch can's not even doing anything at this point in time. Then we went over our modes. So track mode with ESC fully off. As soon as you're starting the car in the staging lanes, put it in track mode, get that intercooler nice and cool, the coolant for the intercooler, get it nice and cool, and then hold the traction control button for 10 seconds so you turn everything fully off. Come up, and now we're talking launch procedures. So our third thing, launch procedures. Do your burnout for about 5 to 7 seconds, roll through the burnout, let off, pull up to the staging lanes, hit your first beam, pump the brakes, get that pressure in, second stage, and then bring the RPMs up to about 1,800, and then off the brake, mash the gas, and hopefully you run yourself a very good time. So that's going to be it for today's video. Everything I talked about for the mods, the wheels and tires, diff, brace, catch can, all those links will be in the description below, so go ahead and check them out. If you like this content, give us a like. If you have any more questions that I didn't think about covering in this video, go ahead and comment below. Let me know what you have. And then if you want to see more, feel free to subscribe. We're coming up on that 1,000 subscriber mark. It's a big milestone. We are doing a giveaway. So if you're not subscribed to the channel and you're watching this video, please give us a subscription if you feel like you want to watch more of our videos. So that's going to be it. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a great day.